Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back, episode 19 of the Be Easy Reef. We got a little water change situation happening, and we're also going to take a second to talk about the flow in the reef tank. So I know a lot of you guys have been asking, what is up with the flow? You know, you guys are wondering what my settings are on the MP40s. So I'll give you guys a walkthrough on how I have things set up and the reasons I have them set up. But like I said, we're gonna get the water change going, get this done and out the way first, give you guys some kind of flow settings and my thoughts and, you know, maybe future plans when it comes to flow on the reef tank. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, like button, all the buttons, notification, everything, you know, that you need to do to make sure you stay locked in for any future updates on the reef tank. Let's get busy. Now, this update is going to be mainly focused on the flow in the tank, but since we're draining it, give you guys a quick look. For those wondering how we're doing with the Limbaya issue, we still have it in the tank, so just been managing it with water changes and then dosing my Microbacter 7 and then my Microbacter Clean after the water change. So alternating those bacteria is not at the same time because the tank's not old enough per Bright Whale's instructions. So we're doing one at a time per week, and for the most part still have the Limbaya on the rock work. You can kind of see it there, but it's not as bad as it was the first time around, or at least it doesn't seem to be accelerating as fast as it did the first time around. So we will see. The goal is just to kind of keep the tank simple, maintaining it with water changes, dosing my calc, and just kind of letting it do what it do. So we are pretty much almost down to the midway point. Let's go ahead and get the water back in the tank. So just in case you was new to the channel wondering how I plan on refilling the tank, this is going to be the Be Easy closet water change station. We got about 26 gallons of fresh saltwater mix, so we're gonna go ahead and get this turned on and get it refilling into the tank. All I gotta do is turn a couple valves, and that's pretty much it. There goes one, and there goes two, going to the tank. Very, very simple. Water pumps in here from the closet behind the tank. Return pump sends the water back up top, and we are refilling. So this really does not take that long. And like I said, this is the last time in a long time I plan on doing this big of a water change to where corals are actually, you know, exposed to the air and all of that kind of situation. Normal water changes will be just draining the sump and refilling it, which honestly never lets the water drop below where that top peak is. So once this gets filled out, we will take a look at the flow and hopefully answer any questions you guys may have had. So we are now completely full, and the tank is readjusting post-water change. So, you know, things are not as clear as they would normally be. So excuse that on the video. And also excuse a little bit of the background noise because we are gonna do this point and shoot style. So you may hear some dehumidifiers or a kid run around. Excuse that in advance. And you guys let me know what you think. You know, if these point and shoot style updates are still enjoyable, because honestly, they're a lot easier for me to get out to you all more frequently. I don't have to edit, I don't have to do anything. I can just kind of pull out the camera, share some thoughts, and kind of roll with it. So the point of this video is going to be very simple. It's just talking about the flow in the tank. I've gotten a lot of questions regarding the flow in my tank, specifically the rock and wave, you know, and pump placement, all those kind of things. So we're going to try to cover at least the main talking points in this update. So for those wondering, these are two Vortech MP40s, which are running right now. As you guys can see the flow patterns of them, both quiet drives, and the microphone is right by the pump. You guys let me know if you can hear that. If you can pick that up on the video, you're a good one, because my ear is right beside it, barely can hear anything. And if I'm sitting on the couch, you definitely can't hear anything. So super quiet pumps, super powerful. I believe these things run a maximum of around, I think, 5,000 gallons per hour each, which is tons and tons of flow for the Reef tank. So you can run these multiple ways. You can use these with the controller by themselves, touch button, you know, go through the settings, pick whatever you want, or you can use the Mobius app, or you can use what I'm using, which is the MXM module, which I just set up, and we will cover this in a future update. So stay tuned. I'm gonna put another Apex video out soon, speaking about all the new additions, the MXM, auto feeder, flow monitor, and all that good stuff. We'll cover that in another video. But for now, I just want to kind of give you guys a quick run through on the MP40s. Now, motor on the outside, for those who don't know about these, motors on the outside, and it's magnetically coupled with the impellers on the inside. You gotta mount these where you keep the cord, you know, attached to the glass, just in case these things separate. You don't want to have this pump hitting the ground and, you know, ruin a very expensive piece of equipment. So that is a quick run through on the MP40s for those that were curious, who've never had them before or didn't know. They've been around for a long time. I mean, who doesn't know what an MP40 is? But I figured I would at least cover that with you. So as far as the flow in my tank, it was really, really interesting getting this sorted out, because this is a mixed reef tank. And you guys know when I created this aquascape, I planned on having a mixed reef. I wasn't sure how much SPS versus LPS versus, you know, leathers. Wasn't sure how much, but a lot of that was dictated by the flow pattern in the tank, and also the lighting that I was gonna get in the tank, specifically the AI blades, you know, what kind of light they were gonna be able to provide, and the PAR I was gonna be able to kind of spread out in the tank. So all of those things kind of played together and led to this point of this particular flow pattern and this particular placement of corals. So we have a few different zones in the tank. The highest flow area, which it should be obvious to you, is going to be the SPS archway, which is positioned directly in front of this MP40. And that was done purposely so this MP40 can deliver tons of flow across this area, and, you know, provide all the flow needs for the SPS corals. Now, I could not accomplish this with the innovative marine pumps that I had on here, because they delivered more of a focused beam, strong jet of water, and the MP40s deliver a wider, more general kind of flow pattern. So even though they're directly in front of it, if you put your hand in front of that pump, it's not coming out like you may think. It's really moving water, but it's not punching through the water, if that makes sense. So is it going to be like this forever? Probably not. You know, as corals grow, you're going to have to be able to adjust and move things out of the way. But ultimately, this is going to be what I'm starting with to produce the flow I want for the SPS. Now, the good thing is, focusing high flow on one area of the tank allows me to reduce the flow on all other areas of the tank. So specifically, creating secondary flow, this is purposely placed here to where after that water goes across the SPS, it's gonna kind of hit that peak on the other side and then hit the wall on the other side before it returns back down this side of the tank. So it's creating secondary flow all the way back to this point. Now, something else I did was make sure that I kept my rockscape away from the back wall. Now, when you're looking at the tank from the front, you can't really tell. I mean, if that leather wasn't there, if that huge toaster leather was not there, this was completely open. So, I mean, at least 5, maybe even 6 inches of space off the back wall for the skate to kind of not block or impede any flow from this MP40 or from this MP40 hitting this glass, whipping back around this way or this way. So try to open escape to where I can get a full kind of circular flow pattern to where water's coming here, going there, over and over and over, without being blocked or intruded. Something else I want to mention is going to be surface agitation. Since we're up here looking at the top of the tank, I position the MP40s to where they're going to be as high to the surface as possible to provide this agitation. Even though they're not really made to be surface agitation kind of pumps like a gyro would be, keeping them high allows them to kind of give me a nice rocking flow pattern in the tank. But of course, I don't have them running at 100%. So depending on how you have them running, you still would suck air. So kind of let that be your own judgment in your own tank. So that's going to be the high flow area. So what about everything else? What about the other requirements for the LPS corals? That's going to be where the secondary flow comes into place. This pump goes down, hits the glass, comes back around, and this pump positioned up here, only impact it has on this side of the tank is the undertow, meaning sucking up water before it blows it out. Also impacts all of these LPS corals on this side of the tank. So this is going to feature all the hammers. This is also going to feature the torch corals over there, which are all benefiting from water moving, but no water directly hitting them. Neither MP40 is directly hitting any of the corals on this side of the tank. Now on this side of the tank, I try to avoid any direct blast by positioning this pump up higher to where this water is blowing across, hitting the glass, and then whipping back under, which does let food and allow things to pass over the A cans and hopefully, deliver nutrients or whatever else they need without blowing tissue off the skeleton, so to speak. So that water whipping back around also helps keep the Duncan moving. The combination of this MP40 blowing this way and this one this way kind of creates a little whirlpool sometimes and keeps this Duncan coral moving as well. So I'm getting pretty good water movement all over the tank, and trying to compensate for any coral needs, specifically the different flow requirements for LPS and SPS corals in the tank. So let me adjust this camera. I'm trying to adjust it on the fly. This is not as easy as it looks, I promise you guys, but we're gonna roll with it. So next question I had was the rocking flow pattern. How did I accomplish that? Well, I don't have these MP40 synced, and that's on purpose because they have two different purposes in my tank. This flow is gonna be the rocking wave in the tank. So this is set to a 350 millisecond pulse at around 50% right now. So this is sending out those jets of water and pushing and pulling water with the rocking motion across the SPS corals and literally keeping the entire tank rocking. Now, when it comes to any other random flow, that's gonna be accomplished by the pump on the front. So this rotates between, if I decide to make it reef crest or like it is right now, which is a 4-second pulse, which is just gonna blows for 4 seconds and then stops, and then blows and then stops. So all of those patterns are controlled through the MXM right now, but like I said, you can program it to do kind of whatever you want through Mobius or whatever method you choose. Now, the only thing I will say, these are 5,000 gallon power pumps, so turning them up too high sometimes does result in sand being blown. This is special grade reef sand, and it doesn't matter. If I turn it up too high, it's still gonna get, bald spots in the bottom of the tank. So as that happens, I'll move the sand, readjust the pump power, speed, and try to keep the sand staying still. So that's gonna be the flow patterns that I'm using right now. Now, as far as future changes, I'm really thinking about adding another MP40 on the back left, so I can really kind of have all three of these pumps dancing different flow patterns, having water going this direction across the SPS corals around the back, having water whip around the front area this way, and really kind of create that multiple variable flow in the tank that I'm wanting. Ultimate goal is to have everything moving in here to the point of not hurting corals, but literal movement of every coral in the tank is what I want without sand being blown everywhere. So, I mean, out of all the things to tinker with, lights is not one of them. You know, water chemistry is not one of them, but flow, I feel like, is something that you can tinker with and should tinker with to, you know, get the most out of it and the biggest impact for your tank. So hopefully that answered a lot of the questions you guys may have had on the system. And you guys can tell we are still rolling. Lights are getting ready to turn off, so it ain't too much more to really do or say or show on the reef tank. So this is point and shoot style. Hopefully, like I said, this answered a lot of the questions you guys may have had regarding the flow in my tank. It seems random, but it's kind of thought out as far as, you know, the coral placement and the things I want to accomplish in the system is all kind of planned and thought out and adjustable. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the point and shoot style update. But I think this is going to be where we call it a night. So as always, hey, you guys can like, comment, subscribe. You guys keep doing what y'all do. Y'all be easy and happy reefing. Peace.